Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, just go ahead, shoot me a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. This code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I'm not sure about you, but football season is here. I got to go to a couple of games. My team's is winning. I'm out here, so hey, I'm gonna go ahead and create that account and then use that promo code, save myself $20. Anyway, look, man, hey, big night for Thursday night football. Of course, we had the huge matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this was a crazy game here for both sides. And I mean, we've seen a duel above all. So obviously, you may know by now, Falcons won this game 36-30 in overtime. Kirk Cousins had the game-winning drive, brought Atlanta down, and then threw a dart and took it all the way to the end zone there by Kadero Hodge, I believe. This was his first start, so he had a big night on his first start or his first time getting in the game. So huge win for Atlanta here. We've seen Kirk Cousins throw for over 500 yards, finish the game with 509, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, but above all, threw 58 passes and completed 42 of them. I'm pretty satisfied with this matchup I watched here, even if you look at the Buccaneers side. We've seen Baker Mayfield have himself a game as well, 19 for 24 in passing attempts, and he balled out, threw for 3 touchdowns, didn't make any mistakes throughout the game, and you got to give Baker Mayfield his credit. Before I go too far about the Atlanta Falcons and what they did to win this game, it's safe to say, man, the Buccaneers are a serious threat in this conference. They're a serious threat in this division as well, and I'm sure, I firmly believe we will see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Atlanta Falcons again later on in the playoffs with more at stake. Because right now, 4th week of the season, obviously it's important. Obviously people want to win. You want to be a leader in your division right now. You're trying to build that momentum. But above all, when it's all or nothing, win or go home, these teams are going to play each other again. I wouldn't doubt it. And this division in the NFC South is stacked right now. It's stacked. It's a lot of competition. And they got some stuff cooking over there in Tampa Bay. You cannot ignore that Baker Mayfield is playing his best ball that we've seen him play in the NFL. They still got a lot of great rushing backs over there between Rachaad White and then Bucky Irvin. Those two have been playing great, sharing the touches. And then Godwin, Evans, Auden, Irving. You got so many different guys on the receiving end who's playing great for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even Shepard, another guy who makes an impact. He didn't do much in this game, but obviously we've heard his name called all throughout the season, and we've seen what he's been able to do. So you definitely got to consider the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an elite threat in this conference of the NFC and ultimately in the NFC South for sure, 1,000%. You got to give them their credit because they've been doing their thing. They've been doing their thing for sure. However, for this game, it was a down-to-the-wire game. Almost shocked the Atlanta Falcons won, truth be told, because they made so many mistakes. Made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of silly penalties that almost came back to really haunt them and hurt them throughout the game. Multiple flags, offsides, drop passes was another one. But once again, as we've been saying since week 1, the defense came and saved the day for the Atlanta Falcons. The defense was there and really held it down, made sure the Falcons could get the win. And I'm glad they did. This is the 4th game with the Atlanta Falcons defense where they forced a turnover. The 4th straight game that they forced a turnover against the other team here. We had the game against the Saints last week. They had the interception against Derrick Carr. The Eagles, they forced Jalen Hurts to have an interception. Pat Mahomes, yes, they lost that game, but they still forced an interception. And then you had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where our safety, Jesse Bates, I think it was Jesse Bates. It might have been another safety, but our safeties in the defense, above all, forced multiple fumbles that helped out the Atlanta Falcons and got the ball back in crucial times of the game. Not every time did we see the Falcons actually capitalize on that opportunity and make something happen, but above all, you got to give them credit because the defense kept giving the offense chance after chance after chance after chance to ultimately put points on the board. They did. Shout out to Koo for kicking the field goal. He had a rough start earlier. Was 2 for 4, and then when it mattered most, he knocked down a field goal to send it to overtime. This was a huge point here in the game. It was some questionable calls, some risky calls, but if we're going to live that way, then hey, let's make it a part of our identity. If the Falcons are going to be a risky team, go for it on 4th down and play to the very last second of the game to get the best kick ever, it's scary. It's very, very scary. Don't get me wrong. I was against it. I was not trying to watch that go down. But above all, if that's going to be the identity that this team has, then stick with it. I'm okay with that as long as it's consistent. We seen them go for it on 4th, and I think it was like 4th and 6 in the 4th quarter. And above all, they ended up scoring. Darnell Mooney, he's been playing great, and he ended up taking it for a touchdown after they picked up the 1st down. But it was risky. It was a point where we could have kicked the field goal, stacked a couple more points, and get another drive. But they went for it, and it was scary. But again, if that's going to be the identity, then I will take it from the Atlanta Falcons. Above all, man, hey, they played okay. We've seen improvement compared to last week from the previous weeks of this game. In this game, the offense looked a lot better. The play call wasn't as bad as we've seen. Still some things you want to sharpen up. Still some silly mistakes you want to sharpen up in terms of being locked in, being focused, and just being disciplined on the offensive end. But everyone touched the ball. We've seen Kyle Pitts finally get some touches. Kyle Pitts had 7 receptions, 88 yards. Drake London proved himself to be an elite receiver in this game. Definitely shown himself as a star receiver in this game. Darnell Mooney did the same thing as well. Both of those guys had over 100 receiving yards. This was crazy. Kirk, I get, he threw 50 passes, 60 passes almost, which is obnoxious. It's insane. This is insane. He should not have to throw the ball that much. The run game should be able to get open a little bit more than what it was able to against the Buccaneers. But above all, for someone throwing 60 passes in the game and the receivers being on top of it, getting open and being able to catch these passes, turn them into 1st downs, this is a good thing. This is a good sign for the Atlanta Falcons. The only thing I would say going into next week that they want to definitely sharpen up, make sure is a lot better is let's see that run game break open. Let's see Bijan Robinson and Algier get that run game going, and let's really see what they can do. You're going against the Carolina Panthers. I don't want anybody to be sleeping on the Panthers because as soon as you start sleeping and thinking it's an easy dub, that's when they put up 40 points on you, and now we looking like the bad team that just been getting lucky, even though that's kind of the case a little bit. Different story, though. Leave that for a different day. But above all, going into that Carolina matchup, the Atlanta Falcons definitely got to lock in, and they definitely got to be focused. I would say O-line, continue your great pass protection as they've been doing. They've been doing solid with the pass protection, but the run game, that's got to be better. We got to be able to give our backs open space. We got to give them holes to run through with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier because that's an elite duo that they have back there. And to me, it's no reason that duo can't be like what we see in Detroit with the Lions. We should 1,000% be able to duplicate that. But the offensive line clearly is the difference maker here, and why we're not seeing that. But hey, shout out to Kyle Pitts, man. Did his thing, finally got some receptions. Ran some good routes against the linebackers instead of DBs this time. So, hey, I'm happy for that, man. The defense, shout out to them as well. Did their thing, of course. Happy to see that defense go to work, get the ball back multiple times. Gonna be a fun ride in Carolina here. That's next week, of course, so it's going to seem like forever until the Falcons play football again. But look, we got some more stuff coming up, man. We got some news and all of that stuff, some trades. It's possibly about to go down. So I would say take a listen. Don't go anywhere. Look, man, it's only halftime, so we'll be right back. All right, and we got some news for the run here, but want to go ahead and give a quick reminder. If you heard something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, or even if you just want to go ahead and drop your opinion, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405, and go ahead and use that promo code on SeatGeek to get $20 off your first ticket purchase, The Run Podcast. The code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website, so go ahead, use that promo code, go to a couple games, it's football season, live your best life. All right, look, so we got some news for the run here, and we're gonna start off with the MLB because the playoffs is here, and I didn't get much into it earlier in the week or last week, but let's just give a quick recap. And y'all know I'm excited about the Tigers, so that's exactly where we're gonna start. That's exactly where we're gonna start. The Tigers, they made it out the wild card. They beat the Astros in that series 2-0. Clean little sweep there out of best of 3. So they'll advance and play the Guardians, and that series will start tomorrow on Saturday. As far as the Royals and the Orioles, they ended up winning that series 2-0, so they'll go ahead and get ready to take on the Yankees starting Saturday as well. The Mets, they beat the Brewers in that series 2-1, so they'll go play the Phillies. Then you got the Braves, they fell short to the Padres, so that means the Padres will go on and play the Dodgers for that divisional round in the MLB. So it's gonna be a great round, man. All of these games for the MLB start tomorrow on the 5th. Afternoon, really, starting at 12 p.m. on Central Standard Time. The rest of, you can figure it out from there from Central Standard Time. But other than that, man, look, hey, you got some college games coming up this weekend. A couple of those you want to watch, but I really want to get more into the NFL games that you can expect this Sunday. Few college games. I watched the regulars of Alabama. I know Michigan State plays Oregon, which is going to be a good one. Tennessee, I believe I think they have a solid matchup. I got to double check on that. So I'm not even gonna say it so you can quote me on there. But let's just move to Sunday because I know for sure there's some good games going on this upcoming Sunday here in the NFL. So obviously, as you know, the Falcons, they beat down on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-30. They won that game in overtime. What a crazy game for Thursday Night Football. And then this Sunday here, you got the New York Jets playing the Minnesota Vikings in London, man. They're going to be playing at 8:30 a.m. So this is an early game if you're going to be paying attention to the football games that's coming on this Sunday. First thing in the morning. Going to be happening in London between the Jets and the Vikings. Other than that, you got the Panthers. They're playing the Bears this Sunday at Soldier Field. The Ravens, they're going to be playing the Bengals, which is a great divisional matchup. The Dolphins will take on the Patriots. Browns will play the Commanders. Colts and Jaguars. Texans and Bills should be a crazy shootout between Josh Allen and CJ Stroud. Then you got the Raiders and the Broncos. The Cardinals, the 49ers will play each other. The Green Bay Packers and the Rams. Giants, Seahawks will take on each other in Seattle. Then Cowboys and Steelers in prime time. This game will be played in Pittsburgh, so those Steelers fans, go ahead and whip out your terrible towels. And then for Monday, you got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New Orleans Saints. Now, one of these teams is still 4-0. It's only a few of them that's still undefeated right now. And when I say a few, I only mean two. Two undefeated teams that's still in the NFL right now is the Minnesota Vikings, who will play the New York Jets, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who will take on the New Orleans Saints for Monday Night Football. Now, this is going to be interesting because we know the Saints, they've had a high-power offense. The offense was rolling. It's been going pretty smooth. They looked all right against the Falcons last week, even though the Saints fell short. Can't help it when you go against the best team in the NFL, of course. But the Chiefs and Saints, that should be a fairly good game. But the news here that I really want to bring up is Raiders, Davante Adams. He's requested a trade. Davante Adams, now, this dude has played with the Raiders for the past few seasons, and you've seen him on the Netflix series of Receiver, and it was solid on there. And he talked a little bit about his experience. The Raiders, they haven't really been good in the past few years. They've struggled. They haven't had much success. This is a team that's been below 500 over the past few years. And they have great talent. They have some nice talent where they should have been somewhat successful. Obviously, we know injuries always play a part in this, of course. But above all, it seems like Davante Adams is just, sick of the non-quarterback, doesn't have a good quarterback, iffy quarterback type of stuff. Last year, they finished with a record of 8-9. nothing special. The year before that, the Raiders did not do anything. We're 6-11. They got spanked. Right now, the Raiders, they're still kind of struggling. They're at 2-2, but it's been some shaky victories. Above all, let's talk teams where we can see Davante Adams, because some of the rumors that's been out right now, they're saying, okay, well, he wants to go play with a quarterback that he's already has some sort of rapport with. So that being Aaron Rodgers in the New York Jets, or possibly the New Orleans Saints being the front runner. I seen there was something, a reporter, he cooked up a 3-team trade where it was saying Davante Adams may go to the Jets, and the Jets send Riddick to the Falcons. And from there, the Raiders will receive draft picks from the Falcons in the previous year. So I personally love that, being a Falcons fan, but I get how other parties may not like that. The Raiders just only getting some draft picks for an exceptional talent like Davante Adams. The Jets would obviously love that, bringing in Davante Adams. But I think it could work over there. But also, the thing where I'm concerned about Davante Adams going with the Jets is, look, they're already dysfunctional. The Jets have already been a dysfunctional team this season, and we're only in week 4. Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers clearly do not get along. They're bickering back and forth with each other every press conference chance they get. Obviously, we got some guys who are trying to figure out new contracts. They still haven't played a single down, and this has been going on all the way since training camp. So Jets just look dysfunctional to me. One game, they look brilliant. The next game, the offense cannot get a single rhythm. They can't score a touchdown, only a field goal. So Jets, I would rule them out. I understand why Adams would want to go play with them, playing with Aaron Rodgers all those years in Green Bay, having some sort of success in Green Bay. You have a guy you can trust. You have a guy who takes it just as serious as you. Obviously, all of that stuff is going to matter. But when the elements around y'all isn't lining up, and you can't control that, what are you going to do? You're going to be back in the same situation as you were with the Raiders. Unhappy, upset at the front office, upset at the head coach. And it's crazy that all of this stuff started with the head coach. And with Pierce, we thought it was funny games. We thought he was just trolling. He ended up liking a post about Adams being traded and stuff. So most people on media thought this was just a simple troll. We're like, oh, Antonio Pierce isn't serious. He's not trying to trade him. It was a rough game. In the interview, he called out, we don't know exactly who it was, but he said, hey, some guys made some business decisions, so we're going to make some business decisions. I guess this is maybe what he was talking about. I'll play the audio at the end. We'll find it and we'll pull it up. But that's crazy to me. It's like we thought all of this was a joke at one point, and now come to find out, no, it was Davante Adams is who he may have been talking about, allegedly. And then also, Adams was serious about actually wanting to trade. So this was wild here. And I would mark the Jets off. It's just too similar to the situation you're leaving. You want a better situation than that. I'm not rocking with that. As far as the New Orleans Saints, which is another big option there for Davante Adams, could be dope. I think this will be a great pickup for the Saints. Man, they already got so much depth on that team. Oh my gosh, it would be nasty. It would be nasty to bring in a Davante Adams at receiver when you already got Kamara in the backfield. You already got Jameson Williams. Not Jameson Williams. You already got James Williams, the other running back who's injured right now. Crucial guy for that offense with the Saints. And I mean, this could get nasty. I think the Saints are a good organization that will really be able to bring Devonta Adams some peace. He played with Derrick Carr in college, so they have some rapport together as well. And, above all, this is a relationship in a situation that's a lot better than the New York Jets right now. Because the Jets, it's dysfunctional, it's not good, it's not rolling. But with the Saints, I mean, obviously, they've been playing some of their best ball in the first 3 games of the NFL season so far. They've looked good in just about every game. The offense, maybe one game, and that was against the Eagles where they didn't look the best. But above that, we see the consistency within the New Orleans Saints so far. If they add Davante Adams, you give another serious threat with the offensive end right there. You still got Chris Olave, you got Rashid Shaheed, he's still there. And then ultimately, when your running back Jamal Williams does come back, now you have a huge advantage because you have even another weapon. And when Taysom Hill comes back, you have another weapon. So to me, the New Orleans Saints just have more of a put together team rather than, trying to figure this out and let's make it work. Let's see if it works. It's less of an experiment. if you go to the New Orleans Saints. I would hate for this to happen. Being a Falcons fan, I would not want this to be the case at all. I would be so sick because I just know Saints is another team that the Falcons might see later on, especially if they want to win the division and especially if, above all, they want to continue to advance in the playoffs. You're going to have to run through the Saints. You're going to have to run through the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as far as me being unbiased and genuinely speaking on which situation may be best for Davante Adams, I 1,000% agree that it's the New Orleans Saints. Now, of course, y'all, we can figure out some other teams of like, oh, well, maybe he should go here. Maybe he should go there. Of course, we can figure that out. But let's be real. I haven't seen any other reports about him going to other teams. Chiefs was deemed a no. They said no, he's not going to the Chiefs because they don't have the salary cap. They're not trying to make the moves right now. They said no to the Eagles. The Eagles not making that move at all. I seen multiple teams where just wild shots or long shots of, oh, Adams should go here, but they don't have the salary cap. The only true genuine teams I've seen so far is the teams of the New Orleans Saints and also the New York Jets. They said he wants to go play with, a team that he has some sort of rapport with. But anyway, look, here's the audio of Antonio Pierce. He was talking about the Raiders and that business decision that they have to make and that guys were making after week 3. This was in week 3. So here we are. We got the audio. It's right here.
I know you're upset with the performance. How would you rate your concern about the team's effort? It seemed like this is one of the first games under your leadership that the team just didn't seem to show up tonight.
No, they didn't. I think as the game went on, I don't think it was a team. I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions and will make business decisions going forward as well.
Now, that was the game against the Panthers, and they lost that game 36-32. So there's a lot of frustration there, but hey, I guess that's what he was talking about, Davante Adams. Anyway, look, man, I'm going to leave y'all with this here. I'm going to leave y'all on a positive note, of course. Always want to leave some sort of something to positively take with you, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, look, it's Friday. I don't know what day you're going to listen to this and what day you're going to hear this, but I'm going to just tell you this, bro. Whatever you do, make sure you remember, as long as it don't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. I'm going to keep it that simple. Sometimes I try and get deep on here, but nah, I'm going to just keep it simple, bro. As long as it don't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, you live to fight another day if it didn't destroy you. So, I mean, it might have you down bad, whatever it is. You might be rough. You might be struggling. You might be uncomfortable for a second, but just know if you still taking step after step, you still moving forward, hey, that means you winning, man. That means you winning and you just only a few more steps closer to where you trying to be. So take that with you. Accept that however you want to accept that. Other than that, man, look, hey, we're going to be back later on this week. Actually, no, next week. We will be back next week. But, hey, leave a quick take on our voicemail call, 219-413-9405. Use the promo code for SeatGeek to get $20 off your first ticket purchase. Use the promo code The Run Podcast. And other than that, hey, we'll be back later on next week after Monday Night Football, or probably before Monday Night Football. We'll figure it out. You'll see. Just stay tuned. Just follow us on Instagram. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Spotify, iPodcast, wherever you listen to this. I appreciate it. Send us to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, a coworker, a friend, a spouse, your side piece, your partner, your main piece, your mama, your dad, anybody. Send us to them. I promise you, they will not mind. But other than that, hey, look, all right, I'm up out of here, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be back so on next week, and so on, and the week after that, and so on, and so on, and so on.